Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another weekly Shlog. It's Tuesday morning and I just got done shooting a conditions report out of here at Peach Valley. It's super duper snowy, so that's the conditions. Probably not going to be riding anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, welcome to the weekly Shlog. If you're new here, this is my shop vlog, aka Shlog, of our little motorcycle shop in Western Colorado called Highland Cycles. My name's Morgan. The dog is Leia. Angry Zach is already at the shop, probably doing work, keeping us afloat. And yeah, we just chronicle what we do during the week. We show you tips and tricks on mechanical stuff. We have a ton of fun. We shoot ride videos, all that good stuff. So if that's interesting to you, then go ahead and stick around for this. And if you love it, if we earn it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That would mean a ton to us. We're kind of trying to go after some of the big channels, not in like a mean way, but we want to get up there and compete with them and have a bunch of followers. Anyway, let's get on with the weekly Shlog. Hey guys, right on. We are back at the shop and I'm really excited because I finally got some scales to weigh these motorcycles, because I know you guys, a lot of you guys really want to know exactly what these things weigh. I don't worry too much about it, honestly, but I get it. It's fun to know, and also might help you make a decision on what bike you buy and all that stuff. So let's start with the 125. So this is our 2021 KTM 125XC, in my opinion, in actual race readiness. Now, KTM is claiming, they're saying that this bike is just under 200 pounds, like 199, 198, something like that. And they claim to be ready to race. I don't know if that's dry weight, wet weight, I don't really know what they're claiming that. But anyway, this bike now is completely full of gas. You see, right there. It's got all of our guards on it. It's got disc guards, skid plate, Mako 360, radiator guards. It's got a spark arrestor silencer. It's obviously full of oil, full of coolant. The only thing it doesn't have on it right now are mousses, so that is going to add a little bit of weight. Probably not a ton. I will weigh it again when I get the mousses in there. I'm just waiting until we're ready to go race it down in Arizona. I'm going to put new tires on it. So let's see what this thing weighs. All right, there we go. Front wheel 109.4. There's 114.8. Guys, so I rocked it back and forth and moved it around, and anyway, I got to where I got a pretty consistent reading. The back was right at 115. The front is right at 108. So that ends up being 223. 223 ready to actually go race. That's pretty stinking light. Let's go grab our 300 and put it on the scales. All right, now we got our 2018 KTM 300 XCW. Used to be 250. Got all the guards, everything we'd ride and go race on it. So push this up. So that is coming in at 127 on each side. And yes, I can do this math in my head, but it's kind of fun. So that's 255, 223 pounds versus 255. So that's a solid 30 pounds, 32 pounds lighter. Now, I know that I could lose some weight, but I don't need to lose 32 pounds. So that's a huge difference. Seriously, 32 pounds in a bike, that's crazy. Now, the bike definitely, the 125 doesn't have the grunt or the torque that the 300 has. So the 300 really makes up for that weight difference with its torque, and it's definitely light feeling. But that's huge. 32 pounds is a massive difference. between two bikes. So that's cool to know. Now let's go grab my kid's 125 Yamaha. It's 32 pounds. Alright, before I weigh this, I have to let you guys know, in case you guys were paying attention, the 300 wasn't completely full of gas, but it had the same amount of gas as the 125. Because the 125 has a 2.4 gallon tank. The 300 I put 2.4-ish, maybe 2.5 gallons in it. It's got a much larger tank. It's an aftermarket Churvis tank, so I can put a lot more gas in it. But I wanted to weigh it the same amount of fuel, because that's fair. So if that thing's full, we got another, like 5 pounds. So full to full, it's more like almost 40 pounds different. But like I said, the tank on the tank on the 300 is another 0.6 gallons bigger. So anyway, that's why they didn't look the same. Now the 125, I went ahead and filled it up because it's got an aftermarket tank. I forget exactly how much gas is in this tank, but I went ahead and filled it so that it's 125 versus 125 full tanks. This is our 2002 YZ 125. It's a 144, but that doesn't matter. And this is in race ready condition, except for it doesn't have a skid plate, which actually I got to do. But my kid doesn't like to run hand guards, doesn't have radiator guards. It's pretty stripped down. So this one's 114 and 120, so 134. So this one's 2 pounds heavier than the KTM 125, and like I said, it doesn't have a skid plate, it doesn't have radiator guards, it doesn't have disc guards, it doesn't have hand guards, so it's a quite a bit heavier bike. It does have mooses in the tires, which adds some weight, and I think this is close to a 3-gallon tank, so it's got more gas on board. But there you guys go. There it is. The new KTM 125 is truly a ridiculously light bike. I'm really happy to have these scales here now. We can weigh all sorts of stuff, so we can kind of just look at what everything weighs and kind of compare between, apples to apples and what things weigh. So yeah, it's awesome. On to the next thing. All right, guys, got done weighing all those bikes. I actually weighed my YZ250 and my XR650, and so the XR came in almost no gas in it at 312 pounds, and the YZ250 full of gas and ready to go ride and race and whatever was at 265, and that's with the e-start installed. So I honestly think that the big takeaway we should all have from this is whatever. They're all heavy. They're all heavier than what they say in the books. I mean, they do say dry weight, which is they're probably pretty realistic, but don't worry about the weight of a bike, just go ride it. And what we should take away is that the 125 KTM is ridiculously light. It's over 32 pounds lighter than a 250 or a 300 or anything like that. It's pretty close to the YZ 125, but the YZ doesn't have any guards on it. So anyway, that's awesome. So next big news, guys, I'm really excited about this. You should definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we got some big stuff coming, because I just got a package in the mail from our friends at RK Tech, and I am excited to announce that we are going to be doing some testing with their heads. Kelsey RK has been watching our videos. He got a hold of me. He said, hey man, I hear that you don't like the KTM TPIs. He said he agrees. They're really hard to tune. They don't run that good. He's like, but we have a solution that gets you within like 0.5% of its running. So 99.5%, he said. You're almost there. It's as good as we can make it. And let me show you what that involves. So there is the beautiful outside part of the head. There is the inside. As you can see, he puts this crazy pattern in here that's supposed to help combustion, and then he changes the squish and makes it all perfect, raises the compression for our altitude. Between this and a Power Commander 5 with their map, RK has a map specifically for the Power Commander 5, he says that we're going to be really close to what a Carbon 1 can run. So I'm really excited. We're going to be testing this on my friend Andrew Neal's 2021 Husky TX300. So super stoked about that, guys. Make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be testing the crap out of it and seeing if what he says is correct. So really happy about that. And then also, I asked him if he had anything for 125s. He said, oh yeah, I can make that 125 run really, really good. So there we go. Just a little insert for the 125, getting the compression up, putting his squish and his pattern in it. So I'm really excited about installing that. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Can't wait to put that in there. Going to get this done pretty soon. Hopefully here this week. Make sure you stay tuned to the Shlog because we're at least going to get the 125 done. I don't have the 300 because Andrew crashed the crap out of his 300 and broke the subframe and the parts are back ordered. Anyway, so whatever. Anyway, thank you, Kelsey. Thank you so much for that. We have the Power Commander for the 300 too, so I'm going to start loading maps in that thing and get it all ready to rock and roll. Now, on to the next actual job here we're doing. I'm going to be working on this beautiful Husaberg. It's a 2014 Husaberg 300. It's actually for sale, guys. If you guys are interested or you know someone who's interested, let me know. This gentleman wants $5,000 for this thing. It's got just over 150 hours on it. He put a piston in it 20 hours ago, so it's super fresh. Pipe's in good shape. He's got extra pipes for it. He's got a skid plate for it. I'm actually putting on those two tires. By the way, the shop's a mess because, well, it's cold and snowy outside, but then also that dumb snow bike kit is, anyway. Hopefully that goes away pretty soon. But yeah, we're putting brand new tires on the bike. Gonna service it, make sure everything's good, happy, and ready to rock and roll, and then it's gonna be down the road. So if anybody's interested, and if you don't know, a 2014 Husaberg is just a 2014 KTM, but with a plastic subframe. It's got the wide ratio transmission. It's got the 4CS forks, but they have been fixed by Greg Huffer at Factory Suspension Works. Rear shock's been valved too. It's got the PDS shock. And lights, he actually put a KTM front end on it because he liked that better. It's got hand guards, cool guy foot pegs from Fastway Pro Moto Billet, spark arrestor. That's pretty much it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna start taking this thing apart and making sure it's all good. I'll check in if I find anything interesting. Starting right up, I just have the camera on and I had to kick it. The battery's a little low, but this is a perfect testament to why if you're gonna store something, just drain the gas out of it. All the gas out of the tank and all the gas out of the carburetor. All I did was pour fresh gas into it, kick it a couple times, and runs awesome. Really super happy about that. I know he will be too, that we don't have to spend time messing with the carburetor. So that's a lesson for you guys. If you're gonna store something, get the gas out of it. Stabilizer doesn't work. It maybe works for a little bit of time, but not like this. It's over a year now. Of course, the best thing you can do is just ride your dirt bike. But if you can't ride your dirt bike, then get the gas out of it. Alright guys, so I'll put a new plug in it. Quick tech tip, I like to use anti-seize on the plugs. Now I know that the new plugs have some sort of coating on the metal that helps anyway not seizing the head. To me, it's worth just that little bit of anti-seize. I take my finger, should probably have a glove on, but I don't. Anyway, and get the excess off, and then we run that in. Makes it go in nice and smooth. It also makes it come out nice and easy. All right, guys. So Mr. Sheets is working on the Service Honda little 250 up again. Not the motor, which we just did, because he did an awesome job with that. But we are putting new springs and seals in all the suspension, forks and shock. He's actually being relatively calm today, which is nice. He lost his beard, though, everybody. Look at that. He lost the battle. Yes. He lost the battle, but yeah, we still love him. So I'm super stoked because ahead for the One Deuce Nickel right over there. Now the cool thing about KTM's hang on. So the cool thing about 125 KTM's is that the head is actually already set up for having inserts. So there's an insert in here that this is going to take the place of. So I'm going to install this thing. I'm going to shoot an in-depth video of it also at the same time. So if you want to watch the in-depth video, make sure you subscribe and check that thing out. Wiggle this little guy loose and take a look. And that actually looks pretty good for what I've been jetting. I'm really happy actually with the way that head looks. There is the RK head, and you can see, other than the pattern obviously cut into this one, you can see that this dome is way deeper, and it has a very steep like edge going this way before it comes out, whereas this dome is a much like shallower, right? Like overall shallower, and then also the angle is very shallow going towards that. And that. All right, here we go. Alright guys, so I just got done putting the RK Tech head in the 125 XC. Started it up, runs good. I also swapped to Evans coolant. Thank you, Evans. Thank you, RK, so much for the help with the bike. Now I am actually putting on something I purchased, which is a skid plate that has a little bit of a linkage guard back here, because if we take a look, there we go, I already hit it on things. So it's one thing I don't like about linkages, especially KTM linkages. They seem to hang down further than Yamaha and other Japanese linkages. But anyway, so I was just gonna go put this thing on, just 2 bolts, and be easy, because here's the stock one. It's just got the 2 bolts in the frame, which is really, really great. But this one doesn't work like that. So this one goes up. It definitely fits. It's the right one. Everything works. But it doesn't have holes for those threaded holes right there. So it comes with hardware. This part to go in there, but you gotta take the pipe off. Anyway, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it and show you guys how we're doing that. Hopefully it all goes smoothly. It should, but I gotta take the pipe off of this thing to get in there.
5 minutes to
Right. So here's the bracket. I'll show you where it goes. So if you look down in there, see that hole? There's a matching hole on the other side. We gotta put this up in there and then thread bolts through it and then put nuts on the back, which is probably not my favorite thing to do, all jammed up in there, but it doesn't look bad. I think I can get there from the outside and just kind of move that hose out of the way. What the? Never even heard of that. Nice. I think I like it, guys. Take a look. Even though it required, obviously, a little more effort to put this bracket in, now it's just 1 bolt right here in the middle to come off. It's got a little bit of a guard. It's not a ton. It's not definitely covering it. So if you don't hit it with some speed, it still may not protect it. So we'll see. If it doesn't work, I may buy one of the Enduro Engineering linkage extenders and put some rivet nuts or something. I don't know, figure something out. But yeah, I think it looks good. Now put the pipe back on. I'm gonna go test ride this thing since we just put that head on, see if it feels any different. Alright guys, so next on the lift is a giant motorcycle. The Cobra 50 of my friend CJ. This is going to be his kid Otis's bike. It's actually named Ian. We call him Otis because he's awesome. Anyway, CJ sent me a message yesterday with pictures of his rear brakes situation, asking if I had time to look at it, and I do. They went, I guess the brake quit working. I don't know exactly. I haven't talked to him actually. I was out running errand when he dropped it off, but I guess the brake quit working. They got new seals in both the master cylinder and the caliper, and they can't make it work. So let's try bleeding it like normal, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So I'm struggling, and here's why. So the banjo bolt, it's hard to tell exactly where this orientation is, like this way, until it's on here, bolts down here, anyway, and then you can't re-tighten it. So I can't loosen it, get it in place, and then tighten it. That's the kind of stuff that's super frustrating as a mechanic, and I find ridiculous that a company would design like that, because yeah, there's no need for that, and there's no like locator on here to tell you exactly where or to stop it. So I'm gonna have to take this back off, try to remember this exactly, and then all right guys, so I just got off the phone with the owner of this motorcycle and he explained to me what he did to it, and this could be interesting. He, instead of using real seals like master cylinder seals for this master cylinder, he used O-rings. If you know anything about master cylinders and how they work, that's never going to work. So now we're going to take it off, see what he's got in there, see if we can't hunt down some stuff that'll work. Alright, so these master cylinders are, it's just like anything else, but it's got a different kind of circlip. It's not like a big bike, it's just like almost like a piston circlip in here. Get that out of the way. Ah, the bibs! 1 second, bibs. I'm filming. You want to come back and be famous? Oh, he's outside. He went outside. Didn't want to be famous. So guys, you can see, this will focus. This seal is just on there. And he's got 2 O-rings, and then another O-ring, and then another. Anyway, I gotta go dig through my stuff and see if I can't find something to make it work. Alright guys, so I dug through all the kits for master cylinders I have into pieces and parts, and I found a seal that was sorta kinda close. Put it all together and it's working now. It's not right, and it's definitely leaking from here because I don't think the seal is quite the right size, and there's an O-ring in there that, I don't know. Anyway, it's not exactly right. But then as I was fiddling with it, I was spinning the tire, and the rotor's also super bent, which makes it so it takes more of a push the first time, but then it feels pretty good. So they're going racing tomorrow, I think, and I can't get Cobra parts that fast, and that sucks. But at least we got it sort of kind of working, so the kid can go race. Front brake works good, so we'll just have to let them go with that for now if they want to take this bike racing. But that's a lesson, guys. If you're going to try to do the work yourself, which I highly recommend that you do, please make sure that you get the right parts before you start the job. Or be willing to leave it apart while you get the right parts. And then don't wait till 2 days before a race. Anyway, those are the takeaways on this one. On to the next job. Alright guys, next on the lift is Ian's sister Bella, her 85. Little Husqvarna TC 85. And he just wants me to go through it and kind of check and make sure everything's good to go. They changed all the oil, did the air filter, stuff like that. But he just wants a trained eye to hit it. So let me show you guys what that looks like here. Like I said before, these kids are going racing. They're going to do some arena cross up in Wyoming. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to make sure that the air filter looks good because I sort of trust CJ. Actually, I trust CJ 100% just in general. I don't totally trust his version of, yeah, it's all good to go. And that's just because he doesn't do this every day. So anyway, I'm going to start by grabbing a T45 Torx and I'm going to go around and hit all the Torx bolts that have that size. Make sure everything's tight. And then looks like this chain definitely could use a little bit of tightening. So we're going to start there. I like about this fly pop-up stand, well, actually back up, I don't love pop-up stands like for just out on the shop floor, but on a lift they're really nice because they're nice and sturdy. And the reason I like the fly is what you saw me just doing. You can raise and lower it by just spinning it or simply. So it works on the 85 or work on my bike or whatever. Now we're gonna tighten up this chain. That thing is definitely too loose. When I'm doing chains, I like to just loosen up this rear axle nut just enough to take a little bit of the tension, but not totally loose. That way, as we slide it back, it slides nice and easy, and it doesn't just slide back, and then we got to push it forward and all that. So that should be loose enough that we can back the tensioners out and get the tension right, and then just tighten them down. So next project for me is actually yet again on the 125. I know I keep saying I'm gonna ride stock, but things keep showing up. This one's gonna be simple, and actually it'll be good information for just the Shlog. Is I'm gonna put a new rear sprocket on it, and we'll kind of go into what we're doing. Big thanks to DDC Racing, Nate Delaney at DDC sent us a 52 tooth sprocket for that, and I'll go into why we're doing that and why I run those sprockets. But let's look at what the angry man's doing. First of all, he's Googling things. Probably because, look at that! That's an FCR carburetor that's in pieces. So the thing about FCR carburetors, they're kind of a nightmare, but when they're tuned right, they work really good. This one's on an 07 450, or excuse me, 525 EXC, the old RFS motor. There's lots and lots of pieces of rubber in an FCR carburetor. And this guy, actually, this is one to know. This little thing is the gasket for the slide. Oh, you be quiet. Hey. Suzanne, there's our UPS lady.
Oh my gosh, hi.
She brings us all our presents.
Yay, there's 2 of them.
Sweet, awesome, thank you.
All right, Morgan, I gotta keep moving.
Yep, have fun.
Yep, see ya.
Later. So yeah, this guy, let's see if that will fuck it. Yeah, it's directional and it's super important. If you don't have that in the carburetor, in the slide, the slide's got a whatever, it's got a plate on it. A few things about that plate: you can put it in upside down and it will start, but it won't run well, and you can not have that right and it will not run well. So something to know when you're rebuilding one of these things. Make sure you get everything in the right place and everything right. That's what Zach's working on doing right now. What are you looking at, the jetting?
Just double checking float height.
Oh, right on. So hey, look at that. Look at him doing his job. Woo! Checking float height. That's something actually a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't check float height on carburetors because they just assume it's right. The reality is it's not always right. So anyway, I'm gonna get this wheel off. We'll take a look at what we're doing. All right, guys, got the sprocket, 52 tooth DDC sprocket. Let me just talk to you a little bit about why these sprockets are so awesome. You may recognize the way it looks from Dirt Tricks. That's because Nate used to work with Dirt Tricks, He left and started his own company, DDC Racing, which is Delaney Drive Components. And they're basically the same as Dirt Tricks as far as almost every part of it. A little bit different pattern here on the supports for the ring. That actually makes them a little bit stronger. But these things last, yeah, I want to say forever. That's obviously not true, but they last longer than a chain. I had one of these on a 2012 KTM 300 that I put 400 hours on the sprocket and never changed it. So these are freaking brilliant sprockets. I'm so happy. Nate, thank you very much for the sprocket. I really, really appreciate the help. He also provided a sprocket for my kids 144 and my KTM 300. So, yeah. Anyway, let's mount this thing up. Now, when putting a new sprocket on your bike, there's not a lot that needs to be discussed because it's, you know, installing a sprocket's pretty simple. But one thing that's really, really important is you definitely want to use some Loctite. This is blue thread locker. By the way, I call it Loctite. That's kind of like calling a Xerox machine or a copy machine a Xerox machine or clean it. Anyway, all that stuff. I use the Worth stuff because they're easier to deal with. But anyway, so blue Loctite, you want to put it on all the bolts. Normally I'd say you want to put new bolts in the sprocket once you've changed them, but these things have like 5 hours on them, so I'm going to reuse these from KTM. And then you really want to take your time and get them all nice and tight. And then sprocket bolts are one of the things you want to check every time you put the bike up on the lift, you change oil, whatever. You definitely want to check sprocket bolts and make sure it's all good. So I'm getting ready to put the wheel back on. That's nothing special, but I'm gonna have to adjust these chain adjusters because this sprocket is 1 tooth bigger than what came on it. But something to do, guys, when you have a new motorcycle or even your old motorcycle, you should take these adjusters out and put anti-seize on them, because that's a steel bolt and an aluminum swing arm, and they like to, I think it's called galvanic corrosion. Anyway, they like to weld themselves together. If you wash your bike a lot and you don't do anything to it, or if you don't have to adjust your chain very often. So I like to take them out, especially when the bike is new, and then lather it up a little bit of anti-seize and put it back together. A little anti-seize assembly lube, Molly lube with solids, whatever that is. Anyway, it's molybdenum something. But slather it up pretty good, because who cares if you make a mess. Alright, guys. Oh, so a quick story. Mr. Sheets has been working on this 525. I know that's like all one Shlog and it all blends into like 30 or so minutes. But it's been hours that he's been working on that 525. And I didn't have the magic hands, like just walk over and touch it and it worked. But with a little bit of effort, I got it running. Actually, okay, a lot of effort, but it's not that much effort. Yes! Anyway, so I'm laughing about that because it's one more win for the old guy. I think it's the facial hair. But, so 125, everything's ready to go. Let's do the first oil change. So I haven't touched it. It's got 6.1 hours on it. And yeah, let's see what the oil looks like, because I've been clutching the crap out of it, because that's what you have to do to a 125. And I'm excited to see what it looks like. So let me set you guys down and we'll take a look at the oil. Hello? It's good, how are you? Yeah, come on back.
Yeah, I talked to you guys a couple weeks ago about working on time.
So that oil definitely looks like it needs to be changed. Take a look in there. There's definitely some silveriness. It's not horrible, obviously, but that's what oil looks like when it comes out of a brand new motorcycle. Gonna go ahead and switch over to the oil that I run. Now, KTM calls for like 1040, I don't know, whatever they call for some. It's transmission oil, but it's like 1040 or 15, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I run Bellray Gear Saver. I have for a very long time. If you guys are interested in a little story time about why I do that, go ahead and comment below, and I'll make a video about that. It's kind of a long story, but I like Bellray Gear Saver very much. It's a little bit less money, but that's not why I run it. I run it because it works really, really good. So it takes 0.8 liters in this tiny little motor, so we're gonna get that done. Right on, guys. That was an awesome week at the shop. I hope you guys liked that video. I'm in the van because I'm heading home. We also had an awesome dawn patrol ride this morning with the 125. I tested it out with the RK Tech head, and I can tell you the short version of how I feel is it was awesome. I changed some jetting even again, and I'm gonna keep messing with it because I've been talking to Kelsey from RK, and he wants me to keep actually going up in jet size until the power falls off and then come back size. So we're just gonna keep doing it. It just keeps getting better. It was absolutely brilliant this morning. So anyway, hope you guys like the Shlog. I hope you guys get out and spread the gospel two wheels. And as always, I hope that what we're doing at Highland Cycles is inspiring you to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes.